Stop. Before you eat your next meal, I need you to watch this. Because there is a vegetable sitting in millions of American kitchens right now. It is in salads. It is in soups. Doctors never warn you about it. Nutritionists call it harmless. And after the age of 60, it may be one of the quiet reasons your legs feel weaker than they used to. I'll name it. But first, I need to show you something most people don't connect at all. I'm Dr. Adriana Markson. And today I'm going to walk you through 6 vegetables, 3 that may be slowly stealing your strength and balance without a single warning sign, and 3 that can genuinely start rebuilding what time has taken. Now, here's what nobody tells you. After 60, your body doesn't just age. It shifts. The exact same food that was perfectly fine at 45 can do something completely different inside your blood vessels, your nerves, and your legs at 65. Same food, different body. Very different result. And here's why that matters more than almost anything else I could say today. The number 1 cause of fatal injury in adults over 65 is not stroke. It's not heart attack. It is falling. And most of those falls don't happen because of one dramatic moment. They build quietly over months and years in the food on your plate. So let's change that. Starting right now. The first vegetable I want you to know about is one you've probably never thought of as medicine. Beets. I know. Stay with me. Here's something happening in your body that no one ever explains clearly. As you get older, your blood vessels naturally lose some of their flexibility. They get stiffer, narrower. And the first place you feel it, even before you have a name for it, is in your legs. Heaviness. Coldness in your feet. Legs that tire out faster than they used to on a walk you've done 100 times. That's not weakness. That's supply. Your legs aren't getting what they need to perform. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine a pipe that carries warm water through your house in winter. When that pipe is open and flexible, heat reaches every room. But slowly, over the years, mineral buildup narrows that pipe. And the rooms at the far end of the house, the rooms furthest from the source, those go cold first. In your body, those rooms are your feet, your lower legs, the furthest points from your heart. Beets directly address this. They contain natural plant compounds that your body converts into something called nitric oxide, and nitric oxide tells your blood vessel walls to relax, to open up, to let more blood through. More blood to your legs means more oxygen to your muscles, more sensation in your feet, better balance, more confidence in every step. Researchers followed a group of older adults who drank a small amount of beet juice before walking. Those people covered more ground with more ease in less time compared to people who didn't. That's not a theory. That's a measurable result from a real food. Roast them with a little olive oil and sea salt. Slice them cold over a green salad. Or blend them with frozen berries and ginger. You will barely taste the beet, but your legs will absolutely feel the difference over time. Now, hold on to this idea of blood vessel health. Because one of the 3 vegetables to avoid is going to come back to this exact same topic, in a way that's going to surprise you. The second vegetable I want to put in your corner is one you already like. Sweet potatoes. But I want to tell you something specific about sweet potatoes that most people never hear, something that goes far beyond vitamins and fiber. Here's the hidden problem. When your blood sugar spikes sharply after a meal and then crashes back down, and this happens repeatedly over months and years, it does something very specific to the small blood vessels in your lower legs and feet. It damages them. Slowly. Quietly. But more importantly, it dulls the tiny nerve fibers that live in the soles of your feet. And those nerve fibers are constantly sending messages up to your brain. Messages like, the floor is uneven here. Adjust. Slight slope ahead. Compensate. That constant conversation between your feet and your brain is what keeps you upright. When it gets disrupted, your balance doesn't just get worse. It gets worse in a way that no amount of leg exercise can fully fix. Because the problem isn't in the muscle anymore. It's in the signal. Sweet potatoes release their energy slowly, far more slowly than white potatoes or corn or white bread. That slow, steady energy release protects those tiny nerve signals. It protects the small vessels that feed them. They also carry magnesium and potassium, two minerals that an enormous number of seniors are quietly low in, and that deficiency directly contributes to nighttime leg cramps, restless legs, and that awful heavy feeling in the morning. Bake them. Cube them into soups. Mash them without loading them with butter. Leave the skin on when you can. That's where a significant amount of the fiber lives. Simple, inexpensive, and far more powerful for your legs than it looks. Now, I said one of the 3 vegetables to avoid was going to shock you. We're almost there. But first, let me share the 3rd protective food, because this one involves something most people have never connected to their balance at all. The 3rd vegetable is kale. I know some of you just sighed, but I want you to give me 60 more seconds, because what I'm about to tell you about kale is not what you've heard before. Most people think kale is good because it's a dark green. Antioxidants. Fiber. Fine. But here's the real reason it matters for seniors specifically. Kale is one of the richest sources on Earth of a nutrient called vitamin K1. And vitamin K does something most people don't know. It helps control where calcium goes in your body. As you get older, calcium can start behaving strangely. Instead of staying in your bones, where it belongs, it begins migrating. And one of the places it tends to accumulate is inside your artery walls. When that happens, arteries that were once flexible become stiff, hard, like mineral pipes instead of living tissue. And when your arteries stiffen, blood struggles to reach your legs and feet. Back to that cold, heavy, uncertain feeling. Vitamin K acts like a traffic director. It signals calcium to stay in the bones, away from the arteries. And regular kale consumption, even in modest amounts, keeps that system working the way it should. Kale also contains a compound called lutein. You may have heard of it for eye health, and yes, it absolutely protects your vision, which is directly tied to your fall risk. But what most people don't know is that lutein also crosses the blood-brain barrier and has been shown in research to support reaction speed and mental sharpness. Here's why that matters for falling. Most falls don't happen because the legs gave out. They happen because the legs wobbled and the brain didn't respond fast enough. That gap, that tiny window between wobble and recovery, is often just a fraction of a second. What you eat influences whether that window stays razor-sharp or slowly, almost invisibly, widens. Massage raw kale leaves with a little olive oil for 2 minutes before eating. It breaks down the toughness and makes it much easier on your digestion. Or sauté it lightly with garlic. Toss it into any soup in the last 5 minutes of cooking. A couple of cups a few times a week is genuinely enough to make a difference over time. Now, we've talked about 3 vegetables that are working hard for you. And I want you to feel good about that because adding even one of them consistently is a real, meaningful step. But I made you a promise at the beginning of this video, and I'm about to keep it. Because we're going to talk about 3 common vegetables that, after 60, may be quietly working against you. And the 3rd one, the one I said would surprise you, is something you almost certainly eat regularly and call it healthy. Pay close attention here. The first vegetable to reconsider is corn. Now, I want to be careful here. Corn at a summer cookout is not going to end you. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're eating corn regularly, corn on the cob, corn in soups and stews, canned corn as a side dish several times a week, there's something quietly happening inside your blood vessels that you should know about. Corn is high in omega-6 fatty acids and omega-6, when they significantly outweigh omega-3s in your diet, which they do for most Americans, create a biological environment of chronic low-grade inflammation. Chronic inflammation doesn't hurt. That's the dangerous part. There's no sharp pain, no alarm, no visible signal. It simply operates in the background, inside your blood vessel walls, inside the small nerves in your feet, inside the joints that carry you through your day. And over time, it contributes to exactly the kind of deterioration that makes walking harder, balance less reliable, and recovery from a stumble much more difficult. Corn also spikes blood sugar significantly, the same issue I described with nerve signals in the feet. This isn't about eliminating corn from your life. It's about frequency. If you're having it multiple times a week, that's worth reconsidering. Replace some of those servings with sweet potatoes or other slow-release vegetables. Your circulatory system will respond. The second vegetable to be careful with is canned tomatoes. And I want to acknowledge fresh tomatoes are genuinely good for you. This is specifically about the canned version. Here's the issue. Tomatoes are highly acidic. And that acidity, when it sits inside a metal can, causes the interior lining of that can to release a chemical called BPA into the food. BPA is a compound that research has consistently associated with increased inflammation and hormonal disruption, two things that an aging body is already working hard to manage. You don't need a hidden source adding to that burden at every meal. On top of that, most commercially canned tomatoes contain extremely high sodium levels. And for older adults, excess sodium isn't just a heart health concern. It causes the body to hold on to fluid. That fluid, especially in the legs, creates pressure around the very blood vessels and nerve fibers that supply your lower limbs. The simple fix: fresh tomatoes when you can. When you need canned, look for two things on the label: BPA-free packaging and no salt added. Both are widely available now, usually just a few cents more. That one consistent swap quietly removes a real source of circulatory stress from your meals. And now, the third vegetable. The one I've been building toward since the beginning of this video. It's the one that looks the most virtuous of all. The one that feels like the right choice. Iceberg lettuce. Here's what I want you to understand. Iceberg lettuce is not poisonous. It is not inflammatory. The harm it causes is not direct, it's what it prevents. Iceberg lettuce is approximately 96% water. It contains almost no vitamin K, almost no folate, almost no magnesium, almost no lutein, almost no potassium. And here's why that matters so deeply. You can only eat so much in a day. The human stomach has real limits. And every forkful of iceberg lettuce is a forkful you are not eating of something that could genuinely protect your legs, your arteries, your nerves, and your balance. Over time, nutrition researchers call this displacement. The empty food doesn't hurt you directly. It simply occupies the space where the real nutrition was supposed to go. I want you to picture a person who makes a large salad every single day. They are proud of that habit. They should be. The intention is exactly right. But that salad is built on iceberg lettuce. They eat it every day and call it a win. And all the while, their vitamin K stays low. Calcium keeps migrating toward their artery walls. Their arteries slowly stiffen. Their folate stays low. Inflammation quietly builds. Their magnesium stays low. Nighttime leg cramps keep waking them up. Muscle quality in the legs keeps declining. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because they're doing the right thing with the wrong ingredient. The fix is one of the simplest swaps in this entire video. Just replace iceberg lettuce with any dark leafy green. Spinach, arugula, kale, romaine at minimum. Everything else about your salad stays exactly the same. You still get the crunch, the freshness, the habit you've built. You just get everything that habit was always supposed to deliver. One swap. Enormous difference over months and years. Let me speak plainly for a moment. I know that getting older can feel like the body is slowly making decisions without you. Like things are changing and there isn't much you can do about it. I want you to hear this directly. That is not the whole story. The body you have right now, at 60, at 70, at 80, is still responding to what you feed it. Every single day. The research on this is not uncertain. People who make consistent, targeted changes to their diet see measurable improvements in circulation, in nerve sensitivity, in leg strength, in balance, even later in life. Not because they found some secret, but because they stopped unknowingly working against their own body and started working with it. You don't need a complicated plan. You don't need to overhaul everything. Add beets for your blood vessel flexibility. Add sweet potatoes for your nerve signals and steady energy. Add dark leafy greens, especially kale, for your calcium balance and your reaction speed. Pull back on corn, especially if you're eating it often. Swap the canned tomatoes for fresh or BPA-free, no-salt versions. And replace that iceberg lettuce with something that can actually deliver on the promise of a healthy salad. 6 choices. That's all this is. And you can start with just one. Pick the one that felt most relevant to you today. Start there. Keep it consistent. Give it 60 days. Your legs have carried you through an entire lifetime. Give them the raw material they need to keep carrying you. I'm Dr. Adriana Markson. If this reached you today, if something here made you think about a habit you want to change, share this with someone you care about. Because somewhere in their kitchen, there's probably a head of iceberg lettuce that deserves to be replaced. Take care of yourself. The best years can still be ahead of you, and what's on your plate today is helping write the story of what those years will feel like. I'll see you in the next one.